you know, I think that we're still working on figuring out our identity a little bit offensively. But, you know, I was happy with what I saw.
What's the competition like along the offensive line this camp?
There's quite a bit. I mean, that's the great thing about it is when you bring in, you know, some new players, some of the grad transfers, some of the transfers, some of the, you know, some of the freshmen. You know, Jalen Thomas up front's really come in. I think surprised us all. You know, all of a sudden you look up and you're fighting your tail off for a job, and that's always the, you know, the best motivator is when you have somebody breathing down your neck, you know, that can beat you out. And so that's the good thing about what's happening with us right now, is that, you know, across every spot really, when you look at our entire team, you know, there's really good competition, and I think it's made everybody better.
You guys are without Coach Powell. What's it been like facing that adversity, and then Coach Brewer and kind of how he's been?
Yeah. I think that you know, losing Jamal for the season. I mean, he'll be back. I mean, I think the great thing about his situation is that, you know, we anticipated making a full recovery and being back with us hopefully sooner than later. But it's always hard. I mean, you got these offensive linemen that a lot of them are here because of Jamal and have a really tight bind with him, and he does a great job of you know, cultivating that personal relationship with guys. So I think it's hard on your players, and then what they have to do is just adjust. I mean, that's the thing about football players, and I think this is what leads athletes, in particular football players, to be so successful later on in life, is that you have to make all these adjustments. You have to be able to say, well, you know, okay, it's not necessarily what I want, but I've got to move on. And so Johnny Brewer's moved into that full-time role and has done a great job. You know, Johnny's got a lot of experience working with Rhett through the years, and JB Grimes is the offensive line coach at Auburn, and I spent a lot of time with JB, so he really knows the offense, understands the offense, and then we hired Zach Yenzer as a consultant. You know, Zach was with me at Cal and at Louisiana Tech, and Zach's got some really good ideas in pass protection, and so it's been a good unit. But we certainly missed Jamal, and you know, we can't wait for him to get back.
Do you have any injury updates? I know LaVon Livingston hasn't been out a couple weeks. Xavier was out today.
Yeah. I would anticipate Xavier being back full go probably Monday is my guess, or at least working back into some stuff on Monday. Probably full go middle of the week. You know, Levon's probably going to be a little bit longer. You know, he had a little bit of a back issue this summer. Had a disc surgery, and we'll see kind of what his recovery is going to be and where he's going to be at. We're hopeful that we'll get him later on in the year. You know, and that's certainly, we need all the offensive line depth we can get. But I've been pleased with some other guys that have stepped up, and you know, hopefully he'll get back healthy.
You added Larry Hughes. What did you guys see out of him? And obviously,
yeah, I mean, I think the big thing about Larry is, you know, number one, he's pretty familiar with the style of play. You know, coming from Kansas, there's obviously some differences, but you know, not that substantial. Hey, Ramon, tell those guys they don't need to wait on me. I can catch a ride with somebody. Okay. You know, Larry's come in. He's big. He's obviously 6'6", over 300 pounds. Moves pretty well. You know, has a lot of starts in the Big 12, a lot of experience. You know, he's got a great attitude. You know, he's exactly you know, what you want in terms of somebody who comes into our program. He's got a good work ethic. Wants to contribute. He's unselfish. Excited to be part of this team. Excited about his opportunity. You know, somebody from Dallas. I think that's the great thing about being in the Metroplex, and I think one of the greatest cities in the country to live in, is that you've got kids that want to come back. And so you know, they're high school kids that go somewhere else and play for a while, and maybe they don't have a great experience, or maybe they get homesick, or maybe they want to be around friends and family, and this is a perfect opportunity for them to come back and play at home, and you know, play for a successful program, and you know, get a great education, and you know, SMU is a heck of a place to go to school, a great place to live, and so he's somebody who, you know, took that opportunity, has come back, and you know, is very comfortable in what he's doing, and he's providing some depth, and you know, we'll see how that plays out.
Coach, you mentioned offensive identity. What do you think it is right now, and where would you like it to be?
Well, I mean, we've got to be able to run the football. I mean, I think it's going to be first and foremost for us. You know, we've got to be, you know, we've got to be a team that can line up and run the ball. We got to run it when everybody in the stadium knows we're going to run it. And I think that's when you know you're a offensive football team is when you can run the ball, when the defense knows you're going to run it, when everybody sitting in the stands knows you're going to run it, and we've got to do that. And we've got 3 good running backs, guys that have experience and have played. And then Merrick is a young guy, and will come on, and Merrick did some good things today, and so anyway, we have a good staple of backs. We got to figure out ways to get them the ball and continue to be more physical up front. I mean, I think that's the biggest adjustment for us. It's just getting more physical up front, getting our guys to come off the ball, play a little bit more vertical in the run game. We've got to continue to do that, and then we've got to figure out how to get our playmakers the ball, and I think that's going to be the big thing for us. We're lucky to have some guys like James Crochet and C.J. Sanders, and Judah Bell's coming into his own, and I think you guys have been out to practice and seen Reggie and what he's given our team, and so we feel pretty good about those guys. We're still trying to develop some depth behind them, but and figure out what they're good at and adjust the offense to fit their nuances and their strengths, and continue to build around what our quarterback can do and what our skill allows us to do.
What have you seen out of your transfers in the secondary? Pat Nelson, Robert Hayes, Jordan Blake.
Yeah, great thing. Cole Stearns has done some good stuff. I mean, it's been great. I think it starts with you getting Jordan Wyatt back healthy. When you look at our secondary now and you look at us in the spring, there's about 6 new guys back there that are good football players, and so it's that same thing. I mean, there's great competition. You look at the safety spot. I mean, you feel pretty good about 5 or 6 guys. We're going to find out who the starters are, and that's great. I mean, that's what makes everybody better, is when you have to show up every day at practice and fight your tail off to keep your job, and that's what we want. We want to have that kind of football program where no one's ever comfortable, and that's when you have that, you guys got to work hard. You guys got to show up every day. You got to be consistent, and you have to play at a high level, and there's a high standard. But when you go through all those guys, Pat Nelson, plays really physical. Cole Stearns has been really physical. Robert Hayes has done a lot of good things, and so you just sit back and you look at that whole group. You can't help but get a little excited about it.
Considering you talked about how he gained like 20 pounds, how do you feel that's going to benefit him?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for him is just staying healthy. I think when you're a tall guy, and you're a little bit slight through your shoulders, you're going to have some shoulder issues if you don't add some strength and bulk in your shoulders. And I think, we talked a lot about that with him in the spring. Just allows him to show up every day and to stay healthy and to practice. And that's how you get better, is by grinding through practice every day. And so that's where it starts. And then, he can play a little bit more physical. I think that's the big thing. For him, he's got good size, got a good body. Is learning how to make those competitive plays on the ball. And when you have strength, and you can fight for space on the field by using your strength, and it'll allow you to make more plays on the ball.
Considering how young this team is behind Ben Hicks, does that change how you and Coach Lashley plan your practices or what you do to protect him?
Not really. No, not really. I mean, I think you've got to just go play football. I mean, you have to be smart. We won't hit Ben much. We'll probably make the other quarterbacks live once or twice just to get them accustomed to having to deal with that. Ben's played so much football that I don't think we necessarily need to do that with him. So we'll protect him, and the other guys give us a little bit different dimension running the ball. I think Will's done some good things, and Austin Bush done some good things. I think that there's competition. We keep going back to competition, but there's competition for that spot, that backup quarterback spot. And, that's an important. It's important for whoever's going to win it, because now they're going to get reps, and reps are what's going to make them better. And so, getting the bulk of those second-team reps is going to be huge for developing whoever ends up being the second-team quarterback.
Quick update on Eric Sutton, who's in a red.
Yeah, Eric's fine. I mean, he's got a little ding. Yeah, cool. He'll be back at practice probably tomorrow.
You're about a week in now. Who's impressed you the most?
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, it's just we've just seen so many guys start to hit their stride. I mean, I've been pleased with what I've seen from our defensive front. I think those guys are playing well. Like I said, I love the competition at linebacker. I think when you look at Trevor Denbo and you look at Richard Moore, and you look at Kyron Mitchell, those are 3 guys that we feel pretty good about. Richard's somebody who keeps showing up. You get into these scrimmages and it just seems like he's around the ball all the time. I've been impressed with the way Jordan's come back from an injury. He's for not being 100% physically quite yet, he's such a smart player that he's such a savvy football player. He can make up for being that last 15% that it's just going to take to get back in shape, just because he's so savvy. So he's obviously impressed me. Reggie's impressed me. I think Reggie's the guy that can make some big plays and can give us some pop offensively. He's just got to get more consistent. He and Ben's just got to get on the same page. But a lot of things. I've been impressed with the offensive line. We gave up too many sacks in the scrimmage today. They got us on some blitzes. The defense did, which is good. And I thought we blitzed really well. I thought the linebackers did a great job blitzing, and those guys are tough to block. But we've got to do a better job picking that stuff up. But I thought it was a bunch of guys.
Yeah, time for one more.
How did the two grad transfers from the defensive line shape it?
Well, I think getting Noah Westerfield there, I think you saw with him today. I mean, he's a guy, it seems like when we go in team settings, he shows up a lot, makes plays. Noah's a rangy, athletic guy that plays hard and excited to see what he can bring us. Jake Hall's been out a little bit with an injury, but I will expect him to get back probably next week. And he'll give us some size and strength and length, in the interior part of the line. But I've just been really impressed with, Ken McLaurin's come miles from where he started to where he is now. He's got to continue to get in shape and get where he can play at a high level, more plays. He's got a lot of talent and a lot of ability. He's just got to continue to work his way into shape, and if he can play at that level, then he'll be a really good player up front for us. Been pleased with Chris Biggers and really that entire group. I think has done some good things. Pona's been really consistent up front. I like the group of D tackles. I've been impressed with them. I think both the freshmen have done some good things at times, and so they're going to give us some depth as they continue to develop and play their way in shape as well.